Hi. So, I'm Erin Flanagan. Most of you know me. For those of you who don't, I'm an artist, a writer, a ceramicist. It started last December when I signed up for a class, my capstone actually, which, for those of you who don't know, is like a thesis. It's the last project, and mine was gonna be a 50-page story, but turned out to be 70 pages and half a story. This summer, between summer camp and breaking my toe, I finished the second half. Now I have a novel, and I want to share it. Love in the Time of Internet was once described as a romance coming-of-age story, but I don't think of it like that. I don't like titles like that. I want anybody to be able to read what I write, and I think anyone would enjoy it. It's a story about finding oneself, and yes, that includes finding love sometimes, but doesn't mean it's only about love. My little sister Megan doesn't like reading because she thinks it's a very solitary experience, as if only one person can read at a time and you're isolated when you do it, but I like the idea of sharing a story like this, of people reading it chapter by chapter, being able to talk and wait and think about what's going to happen next, being able to turn to a friend and ask them what they think as well. So if you want some fun mail, electronic or otherwise, or if maybe you're just uncertain about whether you'd like this book, give it a listen. Doesn't hurt to try.
Hawthorne hit enter and immediately scrolled. He didn't want to see his comment appeared. If he did, he'd lose his nerve and delete it. He knew this because he'd done it twice already. He grinned as the pictures, her art, scrolled past his eyes. A watercolor of a river, a sketch of a setting sun, and a lone building silhouette done in colored pencils? He wasn't sure. He had certainly never gotten that kind of color out of pencils of any type. And his favorite, thus far, although there were so many more, a thought that made him almost gleeful, a squirrel nibbling on an acorn, drawn in the corner of what looked like the notes from a math class. She was good. He had just known that she was an artist. The way she had talked about music, she just had to be. He felt it. He liked that. He liked that she was an artist. It meant that he could see a little bit more of her. The fuzzy picture that was this girl in his mind was a little less fuzzy, with the real, tangible proof that she was an artist. He realized that he was smiling, a goofy grin that would cause his brother to cuff his head and call him a dope. But he couldn't help it. He had found her again. She seemed so cool, deep, substantial, alive. That was it. She felt more alive than the people that passed him in the halls. They all seemed so dead, uninterested. Yeah, it was school, and no one wanted to get up that early. What they were learning tended towards bullshit, if not beyond easy. But even in the halls, all they talked about was the next party or hanging out somewhere. The mall? Did people still hang out in the mall? No one was ever learning or trying or striving or growing. They all felt so stagnant, caricatures of the average teen. But not her. Not that he had passed her in the halls, for she didn't go to his school. He'd never met her. They'd only talked. The world needed a new word for this. There were no voices involved, so it wasn't talking by the strictest definition. They had communicated. They had connected via words. It was just on screen. They'd only talked once, but even that one conversation had been enough to tell him that she was alive. She had passion. He knew that she just had to be an artist of some type. And he was right. He had thought that that conversation was going to be it. One amazing conversation with this mystery girl, and then they would never cross paths again. Then, this afternoon, he was rereading their conversation, a smattering of comments left beneath a video on YouTube of one of her friends, and he had clicked her name. She had mentioned the blog in another comment somewhere. He hadn't tracked it down, just saw it there on the page. And that was it. He had found her blog. He had found her.
So if you like what you heard, or even if you're still unsure, pledge $1. You can check out the first chapter. If you don't like it, you can stop subscribing. If you pledge $3, you could receive the story via mail, as I originally wanted to send it out. Or if you pledge $5, you could have it in the way of your choosing, electronic or hard copy, and you'll get a sneak peek into the first chapter of Part 2, tentatively titled Till Death Do Us Part. If you pledge $10 or more per chapter, honestly, you're a little insane. But if you do, and if you want to do that, I'll send you an electronic or hard copy, whichever you choose, a sneak peek of the first chapter, Part 2, printed out and signed, because honestly, you're going above and beyond, and so will I.